Let's tackle the topic of how to choose a Himalayan trek, because let's face it, this is a decision that can make or break your trek. I have seen lots of trekkers making this mistake of choosing something too difficult for them, then struggling and not having a nice experience at all. They come back thinking, I'm never trekking again. On the other hand, there are trekkers who make a wonderful decision by either talking to us, understanding what is right for them, and then doing the right trek. So when I ask trekkers this question that, what are the factors you consider while choosing a Himalayan trek, I get lots of answers. Trekkers tell me I look for, I want to see snow. Trekkers tell me I want something very easy that I can do, off my desk tomorrow itself. Trekkers tell me I want to know what facilities are available on the trek, and based on that, I will choose a trek. So there are so many factors that come into the picture when I usually throw this question out to people. But what I want to tell you is, if you are choosing a Himalayan trek, you just need to look into two factors and nothing else. The first is the season that you are going in, and the next is the difficulty level of the trek. Nothing else matters, because everything depends on these two factors. Why? Because season kind of rules where you can trek. There are some treks that are open only in a certain window. For example, if you want to trek in Kashmir or Himachal, you can go there only in July, August and September. On the other hand, if you want to see snow, you have to time your treks during the right months even for that. And difficulty, of course, is determined by the level of fitness that you have. If you're somebody who wants to get off your desk and go, you cannot go for something very difficult. Or if you're inexperienced, also you can't choose a trek that's above 18,000 feet and requires a lot of, your own strength and fitness. So I'm going to break down the seasons we have and the difficulties. And if you know just this much, you'll make a much better decision for your trek. So at Indiahikes, we classify our treks into 5 seasons. We start with spring, which is from around mid-March to late April. And then comes summer, which is May and June. Then comes monsoon, July, August and September, maybe till mid-September. And then comes autumn, which is around mid-September to end of November. And then comes winter, which is December, January and February. Now, each of these seasons has its own specialties. I keep hearing this misconception that treks are supposed to be done only in summer or only in some certain seasons, but that is not true. You can trek 365 days a year provided you choose the right place. So let me take you through this season by season. What can you expect in spring? Now, spring is from mid-March to end of April. That's what we classify. So during spring is when winter is kind of ebbing away and it is the onset of summer. So it's very early summer. So it is a beautiful mix of winter and summer. You have the cold snow deposits from winter, so you experience snow on treks a little bit. And you have the warmth of summer, so it's not freezing cold like you experience in winter. And the most beautiful part is you'll start seeing greenery sprouting. This is also the best time for birders to go on treks, because this is when you'll see lots of birds also coming out of their hibernation. So there is this sound of bird in the air. There are some flowers blooming. This is also the time to see Himalayan rhododendrons in bloom. And let me tell you, the whole world goes to places like Amsterdam to see tulips. They go to Japan to see cherry blossoms. Very few people know about the Himalayan rhododendrons we have in our very own country. And if you're going in March and April, this is something you must definitely experience. So the best treks in March and April are some of those with rhododendron forests. Ranthambore would top that list. Then would come Deoriatal-Chandrashila. Then I would say Brahmatal and Bedni Bugyal. Then we also have Sandakphu and Goichala in the east, where they also boast of rhododendron forests. So if you're looking for rhododendrons, these would be my 5 recommendations. But there are so many other treks that are beautiful in this season. You'll find a link to our spring treks in the link below, so you can take a look. Then comes summer, which is the season to do higher altitude treks. This is a time when snow is slowly melting away, giving us access to altitudes of above 14,000 feet. So this is when your high adventure treks open up, like your Rupin Pass, Buran Ghati, Gaumukh Tapovan, Kedartal, Bali Pass. These are treks best done in May and June. Traditionally, over the past 20-25 years, May and June have been those top months to do any of these kind of treks, and they continue to be so because this is when all these treks give you access. But keep in mind that all of these treks are those slightly more difficult treks, so you'll need to be on the fitter side. Now here I constantly notice a misconception that beginners cannot take up treks above 13,000-14,000 feet, and it's too difficult for them. But that is not true. Even if you're a beginner, you can take these treks up. Only thing you need is fitness. So if you have the fitness, you can easily do Rupin, Buran, Gaumukh, Tapovan. I wouldn't recommend like Kedartal and Bali Pass. Those require experience because of technical sections, but other treks are definitely possible. Having said that, summer is also a very good time to do easy, moderate treks and moderate treks, because you will see them at their greenest best. So all the treks that you can do in spring, you can also do in summer. And if you're looking for a beginner's trek, you shouldn't miss out on those. After summer comes monsoon. Now, monsoon brings with it the lushest landscapes you will see. So the Valley of Flowers begins to bloom in monsoon. Then you have Himachal treks opening up, because in Himachal and Kashmir, they're at a higher latitude. So two things happen in these two regions. They get a lot more snow deposit. While you see around 3-4 feet in Uttarakhand, you will see around 7-8 feet of snow in Kashmir and Himachal. So it takes a long time for that snow to melt away, giving us access to trails. So treks like Hamta Pass, Bhrigu Lake, Bias Kund in Himachal Pradesh, these open up only at this time of the year. Similarly in Jammu and Kashmir as well, the Kashmir Great Lakes, Tarsar Marsar, Nafran Valley, Pir Panjal Lakes, all of these open up in July, August and September. And it's a small window because just after September it starts raining and the higher reaches start getting snow, again blocking off most of the higher passes that you have to cross. So Himachal is the time to trek in these regions where flowers are blooming. On the other hand, we also have another trek in July, which is outside our country, which is definitely a must do, which is in Georgia, because there also flowers bloom and we call it the flower bouquet trek. So all of these treks come alive in monsoon. Keep in mind that if you're going in monsoon, it rains, so you have to be well prepared for rain, and we have a lot of videos to help you understand how to prepare for a monsoon trek. So take a look at those and then plan it. Next comes autumn. This, I would say, is the most underrated season for trekking in our country, and unfortunately, because this is the best season for trekking. Ask any seasoned trekker and they will tell you that October and November are their favorite months for trekking. This is purely because you get the clearest weather. Your trek can hardly go wrong in October and November. You have strikingly clear skies, so the views of the mountains you get in October and November, they're incredible. So October and November are times to capitalize on treks that have very good mountain views. So you will not see greenery at this time. You will see lots of colors. You will see orange, yellow, honey glazed meadows. You'll see lots of wonderful colors, and that's a sight to behold. So the best treks done in these seasons are your Bedni Bugyal, Fulara Ridge, Surya Top. All the treks that kind of give you big mountain views, they're definitely to be done in this weather. Now, after autumn comes December, which is winter. So here there is a big misconception that I hear about all the time. Most people think only December is winter. Not many people know that Jan and Feb are more winter than December, because the winter starts in December. In around the second week of December, usually the pattern is we see the first snow coming in. But by Jan and Feb, there are a lot more western disturbances which bring snow to our country. And because of the frequency of the western disturbances, there is more snowfall. And because of the very low temperatures, snow takes more time to melt. So there is a bigger snow deposit as well. So if you are someone looking to experience snow, then Jan and Feb are the months to trek and experience snow. I know many trekkers tell me, Swathi, I have holidays in December. Then you have to kind of balance out whether you want to take leaves and see snow or whether you want to manage it. Either way, it's a very beautiful season to trek. Here also I hear this misconception that beginners cannot trek in winter because it's too cold. That's not true again. Even if it is cold, all you need is your many layers to tackle the winter. So these are the seasons that you need to know, and based on what you see in which season, you can decide that I want to see snow, let me go this time. I want to see greenery, let me go in the monsoon season, or I want to experience the best of both, spring is the time. So this will kind of give you an idea of what to expect in each season. Now coming to the difficulty, which is your next question, we classify our treks into a few levels of difficulty. First is easy, moderate, moderate difficult, and difficult. So these are our levels. Now, we never used to have an easy level earlier because no trek is easy, because every trek requires you to walk on your two legs and requires a certain sense of fitness. However, over time we realize that there are certain treks which you can actually get off your desk and go do it. So those are the treks that we classify as easy. They usually involve around 2-3 hours of walking every day, where even exit is very easy. You will, like in case of medical emergencies, or you'll be more leisurely resting than actually trekking. There are not likely to be too many steep ascents or descents. So those are what we classify as easy treks. Then comes your easy moderate treks, which includes Bedni Bugyal, Dayara Bugyal. These are the kind of treks where you're covering around 4 to 6 kilometers every day, where you start in the morning and you're usually at the next camp by lunchtime, and you have enough time to rest for the rest of the day. So you're not trekking way too much. There are going to be some ascents and descents over here, especially on the days when you're climbing to the summit or the highest point of the trek. Even on these treks, exit is usually easy. It could take around 4-5 hours, and that's one of the reasons we classify it as easy moderate. Then comes our moderate treks, where it is slightly more difficult, where your walking duration is longer, your distances covered on a daily basis are longer. There might be some tricky sections like a river crossing, or maybe there's a boulder section to cross, and exit could also take a little more time than the previous two. It could take almost an entire day. Then comes the moderate difficult treks, which usually climb higher up, maybe around 13,000-14,000 feet. You're walking long hours, usually 8 to 9 hours a day, and many days might involve such long hours. Some days may even involve 12 to 13 hours of trekking, where you're crossing a high pass or climbing a high summit. On these treks, exit can easily take more than a day, because if you've gone deep into the trek, to stretcher you out in case of an emergency evacuation takes a very long time and a lot of manpower. Because we are talking about places where there's no helicopter rescue or anything. It is just manual labor involved in exiting somebody from the trek. Then comes the difficult treks, which are meant only for the experienced trekkers. These are very high altitude treks where there's a lot of risk of acute mountain sickness. There is a lot of risk of even just physical injuries, because there are a lot of technical sections. You might be walking on a glacier and you will be walking long hours, of course. And on these treks, you may even have to pitch in to actually put your tent together to maybe help cook a meal. So these are for the experienced trekkers, and it's something you can aim to move towards. So as a beginner, which trek should you choose? I would recommend going for easy, moderate, or if you're very fit, then the moderate treks. For the other two categories, I would say get some experience and then choose those. You'll have a better experience overall. How Indiahikes will help you is, we are known to be the safest trekking organization in India, purely because of the people we have, our processes which are very stringent when it comes to safety, and the equipment that we use. So for almost every single situation that can emerge in the mountains, we are always prepared. More than that, we always try to prevent rather than cure. So we are always on the watch for any kind of medical issues, for any kind of weather issues. Also, we are prepared and we don't want to ever enter the situation. So our mantra is to nip it in the bud before things get too bad, and you will see that reflecting on your trek. If you're curious to know our entire safety protocol and how we go about it, we have an article in the description below on what makes Indiahikes the safest trekking organization in India. Take a look at it. It has everything detailed out. You'll not likely have a doubt after that. So that was about how to choose a Himalayan trek. If you have any doubts, please drop in a comment below and we'll help you out. On the other hand, if you feel the need to talk to any of us, do fill the form in the description below and we'll help you out personally. So we'll be back with more soon. I'm Swathi from Indiahikes and you're watching Trek with Swathi.